Yeah, it's fine. We can start.
Participants join. Good evening, members. Uh, Welcome to the study circle meeting on how to prepare transfer pricing study report using TP software. And we have with us today CN Naman Srimal. Before we start the session, let's try for the institute motto and the code of ethics.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्द्वैता 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 एतद्द्वैता
everyone. As the name suggests of the topic, it is on the transfer pricing audit. And we have with us CA Naman Srimal. He is from the Jaipur and is a very young and dynamic speaker. And I'm sure he will take us through the entire process of the transfer pricing audit and the how to use the software for the study purpose and the working purpose and the documentation purpose. I request now past convener Vijay Kumar Jayam to introduce briefly the speaker of the day.
Thank you, Hirenbhai. It's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Naman Srimal. He's a fellow Chartered Accountant from ICAI and currently works as a partner in Jayant Srimal and Company Jaipur. He's also an associate ACCA from the Association of Certified Chartered Accountant, UK. He also done his Certified Corporate Director from the Institute of Directors and Advanced Diploma in International Taxation by Chartered Institute of Taxation, CIOT, UK. His area of specialization is direct tax, including transfer pricing, inbound and outbound investment strategies, FEMA, and due diligence. He has also experience in many diverse fields like statutory audit, management consultancy, and corporate restructuring. Earlier, he has worked in the following firms and companies: Corporate Tax and Regulatory Department in BSR and Company Mumbai, Investment Banking Division of Singhvi Advisors Private Limited Mumbai, Tax Advisory Services Department in Haribhakti and Company Mumbai. He is currently the member of International Taxation Committee of Bombay Chartered Accountant Society and treasurer of Rajasthan chapter of Association of Certified Fraud Examiner. He has presented many papers in national and regional conferences organized by the ICAI, PCAS, and other professional forums on diverse technical topics such as international taxation, transfer pricing, ICDS, with non-technical session on practice development and Microsoft Excel 2010. He has a flair for writing, and his article has been published in CA Institute magazine, in magazine of Jaipur chapter of Institute, IFA Institute chapter, newspaper, and other technical websites. He is a voracious leader and love writing photo movies, reviews, and short stories. With this brief introduction, I present here with Naman Bhai, who will be dealing with today's topic. Before the learned speakers start his session, from our study circle, we have a custom of contributing 500 rupees as a speaker contribution to CABF fund. Now I request the learned speaker to take charge of the session.
Thank you, Vijay ji. Thank you so much. I'll just share the screen. Is the screen coming fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So thank you, Borivali Central CP Study Circle, to have me over here. One of the most prestigious, I would say, study circle in India. And, you have kept the flag flying high of learning and sharing and, and growing. And, thank you so much. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. More so because I stayed in Borivali for 3 years. So, the fond memories of Borivali, comes when I'm presenting over here. So thank you so much, everyone. I would also like to thank my team who has prepared this presentation. So thank you, Harshita, Chinmay, Pratima, and Jyoti, for helping out on making this presentation. And let's take it forward. What's the agenda? So what are we going for, next 2 hours? Obviously, the TP deadline is there on 31st October. Hopefully that should be extended. But as of now, next 13 days, we have to do our transfer pricing study reports, our 3CV filing, and all those kind of stuff. So the agenda, basically is to do a little bit of what is transfer pricing, because I believe many, I would say mid-tier CA firms would be there who do not involve themselves in a many of transfer pricing. So a little bit of what is basically transfer pricing, how a transfer pricing study report is constructed. So that will take around 30-40 minutes. what are the various database, and then we'll conduct a live search on one of the database, which is Provace. So that will take, let's say, 40-45 minutes. And last 10 minutes, what are the other usage of TP software? And that would end with queries. So the whole idea is to make you understand and give you an overview of transfer pricing, and how basically the actual study is taken, and how a report is being prepared. So for the sake of completeness, I've added some information in the slides. We may or may not cover them, depending on the time availability, but this obviously would be shared with all of you, so you can take benefit of the presentation later on. We'll try to keep this session as interactive as possible. Obviously, when you are talking on a Zoom, you feel like you're talking against a wall, and you guys will feel that you're listening against a wall. So we'll try to make it as interactive as possible. And to start the interaction, I would request, let's see, you to type in that how many of you, have used TP database earlier, how many of you are familiar with the transfer pricing, and how many of you are not. So, to keep it interactive, my whole aim would be that for next 2 hours, none of you go to sleep. So if none of you go to sleep, I think my aim would be achieved. So if you can just type it into chat boxes that how many of you have used TP database, how many of you are really new to the transfer pricing concept. So it will give me a sense of what's the target audience over here, and then accordingly I'll change my gears. So many people have used. Maulik is saying is new to TP. Milind has said yes. So some people are saying, yeah. Jabir is saying is use the transfer pricing concept. So let's keep the interaction flowing on. So Manish is saying new to the TP. Somebody is saying new to the TP. So many people are saying that new to the TP I have not done. So we'll try to include basics overview and then take to the presentation. So Nikhil is saying new to the TP. Peenal is saying new to the TP. So and during the course of our discussion, I'll keep you telling you to put some of the comments in chat box, and I request all of you to answer like you're doing right now. So Chintan, yeah, thank you. Chetan, everyone, Hitesh, thank you so much, and we'll keep the session live accordingly. Okay, so for every session, there has to be some ground rules. What are our ground rules for this session? So my ground rules are very simple. We are going to focus on concepts and principles. Okay. So keep your case laws, keep your, whatever knowledge you have right now, lock them up, a strict theoretical knowledge. And, we have to think outside the CA cloak when we actually doing transfer pricing, because it's all about, understanding a transaction, not just by perspective of CA, but also what are the exact transactions. Okay, transfer pricing is an art and not a science. Okay, there is no one right way to do it, and therefore it is a very, very fact driven exercise, and therefore we are not going to discuss case laws, because they are very fact driven, and they take you to one position, or where the assessee has have a different fact pattern. This will completely change. So focus on concepts and principles. Do not write anything, just try and understand, just try and be involved. I know, VC has its own limitations, because you cannot, just gauge, am I going slow? Am I going fast? What are the audience reactions and everything? So I would request again, to be very vocal on the chat option, and whatever queries you have, you can put in Q&A option. So whatever I ask you and want a reply, you can put on chat option. Whatever, query you have, you can have a, basic Q&A you can put over here. So that's the protocol we are going to follow, and let's have some fun Saturday, weekend, and we'll try to take it as light as possible. Okay. So my introduction to transfer pricing, I will actually take you a little away from transfer pricing. Okay, I'll take you away from a transfer pricing, and I'll take you a scenario. Okay, let's say the scenario is like that. There is, basically, I would say there is this sister and brother in a home, and the brother, Bunty, is a very, very naughty child, very, very naughty child. He breaks everything. He makes his parents angry. The sister over here, Bubbly, who is very, very, it's like the best child anyone can have. Never breaks anything. Never makes his parents angry, and which is a normal case. Sisters are like the God's blessing. So that's the way they are. So that's a typical home scenario. Now, one day what happens is that their parents are out, and this Mr. Bunty breaks a vase. So he basically breaks a vase, and when the vase gets broken, he is literally terrified because he knows that his parents will come in and will scold them. He will scold him like anything. So he goes to his sister and say that this is a normal scenario. I would say it's a normal scenario where the parents will come in and they will scold him like anything. But let's shift to a Mentos scenario, a different scenario altogether, where the brother will go to the sister and say, okay, see, you don't do anything wrong. Can you, when the parents come in, can you tell the parents that, you have done this mistake? Can you take the blame of everything, and therefore whatever penalty they are going to put on me, that will be shifted to you. As sisters as they are, she took the bait and she said yes. So now, in your opinion, I'm just putting a question to you. Do you think this sister will get as much as scolding from the parents as the brother would have got? So my question to you, Singh, do you think a sister will get as much as scolding, or she will get less scolding? Or she will get less scolding and the brother obviously doesn't, So what will happen in your scenario? Do you think sister will get less scolding? So Gopal is saying yes, less scolding. Vikas is also saying, Jabir is also saying. Everybody knows that this is less scolding, because brother went to him and told him, we are one unit only, we are together only, why don't you take the blame? And that is why she took the blame. So what happened? Blame got eroded and the penalty got shifted. So that's steps for you. And that is what transfer pricing. That is the practical aspect of the transfer pricing. I would say, when this person, this was a heavily taxed country, Mr. Bunty, he just shifted, and this was a low tax country, low penalty, and therefore the blame got shifted, the penalty got eroded. So, the blame got eroded and the penalty got shifted, and that's for you. That is what, when it occurs that, this is a typical situation at arm's length price. If we say when, typical, I would say, cost of this Bunty India is 60 and the income is 120, the profit would have been 60, tax at 30%, the tax would be 18%. What they did actually, they shifted the sales. The sale got reduced, and all the profit, all the blame got shifted to over here, to the third party, to the bubbly over here, whose tax rate is low. Don't go by USA or anything, just go by tax rate which is low, and you can see the overall tax rate, the overall penalty has been reduced, and that is what transfer pricing is all about. So multinational companies do a lot of manipulated pricing. We have to prove, we have to take them to the arm's length price and tell them that in India you need to pay so much tax. So as many people are new to this concept, new to the transfer pricing, I thought that I'll give you a flavor of what is basically transfer pricing, and we have to prove that whatever transaction has been done, whether they are at arm's length, and if they are not at arm's length, then then basically addition would be made, and that's the whole idea of transfer pricing. So that's the whole idea, and I hope that with this example you would now more relate to the base erosion and profit shifting scenario, and you may remember this as a blame erosion and penalty shifting. So that's the whole idea of a little bit of transfer pricing. It is done between two associated enterprising, and now we'll jump to the transfer pricing study reports. What are the typical steps in a transfer pricing study report? So nothing has been mandated that those have to be a typical step in transfer pricing study report. You can prepare that in a PowerPoint presentation. You can prepare that in a Word format. Only, Rule 10D says that particular things should be part of your transfer pricing study report. You may present it in any manner, in Excel, in Word, in PPT, any which manner. But these are the typical steps which a transfer pricing study report takes care, and we will understand these steps one by one. Major part would be steps, spent on a function asset and risk analysis and a benchmarking, which we will get it done on a transfer pricing study database. So that is how we will spend our time more on FAR and benchmarking. But I'll tell you, you can take this as a template of a transfer pricing study report. So you always start with an executive summary, because when you present this report, a 3P study report, it will always be, your board of directors may also see it, higher people at the CFO level may also see it, and they would just want to go into an executive summary. So you always prepare an executive summary which says what are the transactions, and how do you benchmark it, and whether they are at arm's length or not. That's the whole idea of a executive summary. So you can put it, is this in a tabular form where you tell us, where you tell a type of transaction, with whom the transaction happened, what was the amount, and what was the most appropriate method you used for benchmarking the transaction. So that is how, you will draw your executive summary, which will be first part of your transfer pricing study report. Next part would be corporate background. So corporate background is important, that how and which companies are associate enterprises. Or let's say for domestic transaction, which companies are the related party, or which units are the related party. So that's the whole idea. So you can prepare, normally we try and show this in a pictorial format, that let's say subsidiary XYZ is a wholly owned subsidiary of ABC LLC USA. So that is what we show, and that's a corporate background. So basically idea, what's the group about, what it does. So how it is normally shown, you say, okay, profile of XYZ Private Limited, which is your local company. So it is established in such and such a year, it has been business in such in so many years, and what are the basically profile of the foreign company, what the whole group does, whether the Indian company does only a small part, or Indian company is a bigger part of the group. So the holistic outlook comes into a corporate background. So that is why a corporate background is very, very important. Next, industry overview. So we give an idea of an overall analysis of economic, legal, and market status. Basically, which industry they are part of. Is the industry very competitive? Is the industry giving any government support, or industry relies on its own? Is the industry a perfect competition, or a monopoly, or a duopoly? Those kind of. So what's the industry? So I will put a question again to you to keep you awake. Why do you think this industry overview is necessary? Any answers? Why do you think this? Because this is not related to my transfer pricing report, whether my transaction is at benchmark or not. So why do you think this kind of industry overview is important? Any answers? So yeah. So Chintan is saying yes, excess profit margin of that industry, Nikhil to profit margin of that industry for benchmarking our company. So in this industry overview, we don't give an absolute statistical figure. We just tell what's the overall analysis. And this is important because let's say Amazon and Flipkart are fighting and they may be at loss. So you will say, okay, retail industry or e-commerce industry is in a place where they have to be very competitive and they have to sell on loss. So that justifies. Or let's say automobile industry, they had to upgrade from BS4 to BS6. So when this upgradation will be there, everybody would have certain losses and everybody. And it is very, very important in COVID times to document this industry overview. That what was your industry? If you're part of, let's say, hospitality industry, then you have to document that because of the COVID, suddenly everything, went helter-skelter and your profits were down and everything. So this will be very, very important thing in this year and 2021, transfer pricing study report. Now, where do you get that information? So there are various sources. Industry overview, you can go to IBVF, you can go to, various articles, general, you can go to industry association. So every industry has its association. So hospitality industry will have, a ceramic industry will have, like a NASCOM for software industry. They also keep on publishing report. So try capturing that data and try capturing that into your industry overview, by CIA, FICCI, SOCHAM, and annual report of similar listed companies also. So let's say your company is a private company, but similar listed company in a director report, they show that, okay, overall industry is going down or overall industry is coming up. You can use that data to somehow build let's say if your company is not doing very well and industry per se is not doing very well, you can use that data per se to put it into industry overview. This will not give you any statistical analysis, but just create an atmosphere that yes, something can, I would say, can go wrong in my industry. So that is, very, very important in COVID times, this industry overview, I would say. Next, I would say we'll take the FAR analysis, and this is the heart of transfer pricing. I would say, see, the whole idea is that when you see, you have to find your comparable. For finding your comparable, you need to, you do a FAR, function, asset, and risk analysis, that what kind of functions you are performing, what kind of asset you are having, what kind of risk you bore. And that analysis is heart of transfer pricing. And I'll again explain you by taking you away from transfer pricing and asking you few questions. Okay, so keep your, fastest fingers fast. Keep your, I would say, fingers on the laptop keyboard, and let's see who answers. So my first question, this is Rohit Sharma, this is Bumrah. They both play for Indian team. Are these guys comparable? Are these guys comparable by any means of stretch of imagination? So no, everybody is saying Chintan, Manish, Vikas, Maulik. Everybody is saying no, these guys are not comparable. I would say they play for Team India. But if Rohit Sharma, scores 20 runs, you will say sad, it's only 20 runs. But if Bumrah scores 20 runs, you will be elated. You will be happy. Wow, he's done such a wonderful batting, because his role in team is primarily bowling. So these guys are not comparable. Okay, not at all comparable. Are these guys comparable? So can you compare these, Rohit Sharma with Dhoni? Can you compare? So Gopal says yes. Some people are saying no. Chintan says yes. Manish says yes. So some people are saying no because Dhoni don's additional responsibilities. Let's say if I ask a simple question: if Rohit Sharma does not play 5 good games, he might be out. But if Dhoni does not play 5 good games, he's there for batting wise. He is there for captaincy. He's there for, let's say, wicket keeping. So they're somewhat comparable, but not exactly comparable. They both are batsmen, but Dhoni has some additional backing of wicket keeping, and earlier obviously captaincy also. So let's take that, imagination in that point of time. So yes, comparable somewhat, but not exactly comparable. Okay. So Rohit Sharma, you want them to play, every innings. Dhoni can come as a pitch hitter towards the end. Rohit Sharma is opening up. So that is not exactly comparable. Are these guys comparable? Rohit Sharma and, Pujara. Are these guys comparable? So both are batsmen, both come a little up on order. Do you think these guys are comparable? So Chintan says no. Somebody saying, Rakesh saying yes, Manish saying no. So these guys are also, somewhat, I would say both are batsmen, but while, both take different risks. So while, if Rohit Sharma plays, let's say, on 100 strike rate and scores 100, you will be sad for him. But if Pujara does the same, you will be happy, because that is his role. He wants to stabilize. And Rohit Sharma's role is completely different. You want a hitman. You want him to score 200 you want to score him on a different footing. So, these guys would take in a different position, different role again. So, somewhat comparable, yet not comparable. Because Rohit is an opener, he's a stabilizer, he comes after, couple of wickets go down. He is more of a tax person, Pujara. No, last question. Are these guys comparable? Both are opening batsmen. Can strike rate of, Gavaskar can be compared with the strike rate of, Rohit Sharma. Both are opening batsmen. Both should hit, and if no, then why not? If no, why not? Both are opening batsmen. So, yeah, some people rightly pointed out that this is because of the timing. He played in an era where 100 strike rate was an amazing thing. But he played in an era where basically 100 time difference. So Gopal, mentioned right, time difference. Where 100 strike rate would be low for an opener. So they can't be compared because of the timing differences. And that, my friends, is basically a FAR analysis. I now relate it to TP. This is typically FAR analysis. If you say, function of Rohit Sharma is different from function of Bumrah. Both play a different role altogether. Okay. MSD has different assets. I would say Dhoni has captaincy as an asset, maybe as a responsibility also, as a risk also, but Dhoni has a different asset. Dhoni has wicket keeping as an asset. You cannot compare both of them. Both has a different, asset analysis. Similarly with Pujara, he will take less risk. So risk, SAR, remember those terms. And Rohit, you would want, okay, you can take risks. You go bat, you play like a hitman, you take ample number of risks. But when 2 wickets are down, you will not accept, Pujara taking risks. So different asset altogether. And yes, most of you guessed this right. Timing difference. You cannot compare profitability of today with profitability of 10 years before. You cannot compare Gavaskar's strike rate with Rohit Sharma's strike rate. So that is, a heart of TP. You need to find exact comparable. Rohit Sharma can be compared with Aman. Rohit Sharma can be compared with an opening batsman. As simple as that. He cannot be compared with a non-opening batsman, and maybe of some different era, he cannot be compared. So, if you like, and if you understood far, and if you like the way it was being told, then you can, put it in the chat comments. It will, reach to me, and I would feel really happy. So do, give your, thank you so much for giving your love. So that is, what is far about. You set out from a pool of fish, you set out what is different and you take it into your. Finding the comparable for benchmarking the transaction is what is far it, and that is what, you have to apply in business sense. So I'll keep you, now back to TP, because otherwise the study circle people will never call me next time and say, sir, aap to cricket ki baat kar rahe ho khali. Okay. So how do you actually define, commonly used function, asset and risk, and keep cricket in mind. Functions mein kya ho sakta hai? There could be opening batsman, wicket keeping, bowling. So function profile to be R&D, who does the negotiation of price, who does the advertisement activity, who does the after sale service, those kind of things. Assets, premises, equipment, machinery, and risk. Who assumes the market risk? Which of the company assumes the market risk, inventory risk, credit risk? So I'll explain you again with an example, illustrative function. We are explaining a trader. So a trader could be a pure commission agent, which does only commission. He does not take care, a responsibility of the goods. He does not hold inventory. He is just a simple commission agent. He earns its commission. He not even takes the title of the goods. He just earns a commission. There, a second on a higher would be a buyer-side distributor. He buys, he sells. So he just buys, maybe takes some inventory and have a sale and distribution function. He's responsible for billing and connection. Okay. And he's a buyer-side distributor. And then you have a marketer, a full-fledged distributor. So he buys, he might maybe use his own branding, or, for other branding also, he does warranty. He also does a strategic marketing, where to, post ads and everything. So your functions are completely different. Whom do you think would have a higher margin? Whom you should have a higher margin? Will a commission agent will have a higher margin, or will a marketer or full-fledged distributor will higher margin? Can you put it into chat boxes? I will keep you busy. If you're attending the session, I will keep you busy all together. So full-fledged, yes, W. So full-fledged person will have a higher margin. So marketer fulfill, and you cannot compare when your company is a commission agent and you go to software. And why I'm explaining this, because we will go to software and see how filtering is done. So your company cannot be compared with a marketing agent, because your company will earn only 2% and a marketer and a full project may be earning a 5%, and your company will always be lower. So this cannot be worked. A full-fledged distributor will obviously, we have, thank you Chintan, thank you Jabir, full-fledged, marketer will obviously have a higher margin, and a commission agent will obviously should have a lower margin. It may or may not happen, but you cannot compare marketer with a commission agent, and that is why you need to do this analysis. Then go into an asset. So simply, a commission agent will maybe have a general office equipment, but a buy-sell may have some marketing intangible. A small marketer or wholesale may have some equipments that are, similarly with risk. So these will have a highest risk, this will have a lower risk, and this is the lowest risk. Lower the risk and lower the margins projected margin. So that is why, it is very, very important to understand this concept. And this is the heart of transfer pricing. You have to go through agreements. You have to exactly see what are the economic characterization, who is doing what, and then determining that who you are, what your company is, or what your transaction is in your company. See, always remember one thing: TP is transaction specific. Transfer pricing is transaction specific. In a company, you can do assembling also, you can do manufacturing also. A manufacturing will always give a higher profitability than a pure assembling. On a given company, you can have manufacturing, assembling, trading, services, many things. So you have to benchmark each and every transaction separately until unless they can be aggregated altogether. So you have to benchmark this transaction separately. And once you benchmark, you will characterize your company into various types. It could be trading, manufacturing, full-fledged manufacturing, low-risk manufacturing, full-fledged service provider, low-risk service provider, anything, export companies, import company. And this is very important to know, to apply when you're doing filtering in databases. When you are going to do filtering in database, you have to apply this, concepts. So we'll again do some exercise and some, unlocking of the brains. And I will tell you to guess the companies by looking to their financials. And this is exactly what we do in transfer pricing. I have tried to keep it as practical as possible and avoid all technical issues, avoid, all technical jargons. So let's do some exercise. We have 4 exercises. I told you that there could be different kinds of companies: trader, service, manufacturer. Guess the type of company, company A and company B. Based on their profit and loss account, can you see a difference in both profit and loss account? Can you see a difference in company A and company B? And if yes, what is that difference? Can you just, keeping everything aside, can you just seeing by this financial, can you tell which company is what? Just apply your mind and I'll give you a minute and I'll have a sip of water. Yes, so somebody is saying that company A is a service company, okay. So company B, Chintan is saying company B is a commission, okay. Manav is saying that company B is a trader, okay, very nice, yes. Let's apply your mind. Okay, more answers, yes, more participation. Just just see what are the difference in these two P&L, and this will become easy for you. Just apply your okay. So a very, very simple thing. Yes, Jabir, company B is trading and A is in service. The Dharmesh, company B is trading. Very good. So you can just see over here there is no purchase of finished goods. It's the major component is compensation to employees. So you can see more or less this could be a service company. It could be any kind of service company. It could be software. It could be commission agent. But majorly compensation to employee is there, and over here compensation and employee is there in purchase of finished goods. There is no raw material, purchase of finished goods, and they sell this up. So this could be a trader and this could be a service person, and that is how the distinction needs to be done for each and every when we're doing a PAR analysis. So I'll take it further. Guess these type of companies now: company A and company B. What kind of company A company is a little trickier than the first one, but you can exactly see the difference where it is coming from. Let's apply your mind. Let's, there are 200 people down there listening to this session. Let's more comments keep on putting in. The more we interact, the more we learn, and this is the only way we can have interaction on a Zoom conference. Yes, thank you. So somebody is saying that company A is a manufacturer, okay. Company B is a trader. Okay, I'll take that because maybe you're seeing a little bit of raw material. Okay, can you just see the difference? Let me, So what do you see? Can you see something in stock? Company B is a manufacturer. Yes, Shivananda, you can say that maybe, or manufacturer will have not that low material. So there could be different answer. Thank you, Jabir. Thank you, Gopal. Company A is a trader and company B is a manufacturer. Okay, might be you're seeing a little bit of raw material. You will say, this is a manufacturer. Okay, company A into manufacturing activity. So I did put this as a trick question to just divert you a raw material a little bit over here. But exactly that may be the case, may not be the case. So can you see change in stock over here? See, both are doing just purchase of finished goods primarily. This might be maybe some some small raw material, but of 755, if you put 0.43 of raw material, you cannot manufacture. But over here, you see change of stock, and over here you see no change in stock in past 3 years. So this could be a possibility that this is just a buy-sell distributor which does not keep stock, okay? Which does not, or it could be a commission agent which does not keep stock and just buy and sell, buy and sell. Over here he keeps stock, and when he keeps stock, he assumes higher risk. He assumes higher asset. So this is a trader who has a stock. This is a full-fledged trader, and this is a buy-sell trader. So does this sound, does this sound correct now? That this could be a trader, which have a asset in hand because there is a change in stock. There could be a closing stock. This could be replicated. This could be seen more when you see the balance sheet. But yes, there could be, because there is change in stock, you can see that there could be a closing and an opening stock. Over here, you will not see any change in stock. So this is how you analyze that this could be a buy-sell distributor, and this could be a pure, this here. So that is one of the distinction, and there could be several interpretation. That's not an issue. Guess the type of company. Third question. Now from the balance sheet, just see, and again, this is just pure interpretation. Just see and just your interpretation. What are the type of companies? Where do you see? Do you see something in fixed asset? Do you see something in intangible? Do you see something in loan? Do you see something in reserve and surplus, long-term borrowing, anything? Do you see, some advances and long-term borrowing? This could be taken. Do you see some? Yeah. Company A is manufacturer, company B is financial. Yes, very good. Yes. Thank you, Dharmesh. Company B is finance. Gopal, yes, very nice. Company B could be finance also. Yes, very nice. So I'll take this further. Thank you for answering. So one of the things which I have not marked, but you can see that it is taking loan and giving long-term advances. So this could be an NBFC. This is a normal company which has fixed asset and everything. This could be a manufacturer or trader, whatever be it. Another thing you can see that this does not have any intangible asset. This has an intangible asset. So this could have some kind of brand also. This could be software also. This could have some brand also. This have a higher tangible fixed asset compared to their other financial. So this could be manufacturing. This have a lower tangible fixed asset. This could be a trader also. So this is just a guess which we are making, which could be substantiated by way of other financial analysis. But all the analysis is correct. In TP, it's perfect art. Last question. Is a type of companies. So I'll teach the complete FAR. You guys are amazing. You are expert in TP. And the FAR is the core of TP. So I think this one will be very, very simple. Since you have done two tricky questions, this should be very, very simple. We just have to see one difference which is there. Just a hint. Okay, yes. So you can see purchase of finished goods somewhere, and you can see raw material somewhere. Finished goods, yes, Gopal. Perfect. Very nice. Thank you, Dharmesh. So company A is a manufacturer because it is buying raw material, and company B is basically a trader of finished goods, a purchase of finished goods. So that is how your distinction would be there when you are analyzing your balance sheet, your comparable company. You know yourself first, and then you find your comparable company. So that's the whole idea. Change in stock, basically raw material, and all those stuff you can see. So these are the various comparability factors where you can compare your company's, level of operations, who's doing R&D. I just indicated you 4 or 5 things, asset composition, credit risk, many, comparability could be, taken. And then let's say, you still find some differences which could be met out. Let's say in my case of Rohit Sharma versus Sunil Gavaskar, both were opening batsmen, but you can meet out that in those years, the strike rate was so much, and these years, and you can differentiate and you can put an adjustment. Then you can have some adjustment also and bring them together. But the whole idea is to know about yourself. You finally, when you do a detailed functional asset risk analysis, you know about yourself, whether you are a trader or you're a manufacturer or a service provider. And then towards the end, we do a characterization. We do a characterization in our report that which kind of company I am, and I'm looking such kind of company in my databases. So that is the characterization which we are going to do, which we do. And I hope, and if you have learned, if you have understood far, in last 15-20 minutes, do send your love to me, do send your yes or a thumbs up, and I'll come to know that we have achieved our purpose. So do keep on writing. I'll keep you busy. Do keep on commenting on the chat box. To keep your awake, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. For showing me that yes. If it's going in fine pace, please do let me know. If you want me to slow down, if you want to do a little bit fast, anything, just put in on your chat box, and we'll accordingly adjust. So this is, I would say, first part where you know yourself, and then you become the tested party. You actually see which party to be tested. Tested party normally is a party whose margin can easily be tested, whose margin more often than not, that's an Indian party, unless your foreign party has very, very low or complex, very, very easy functions. Then you shift your tested party to foreign party and test its margin. Otherwise, because Indian database is available to most of us, we choose normally the Indian tested party, and then you choose what profit level indicator you want to choose on. So basically, you choose which profit level indicator you want to test, how is the margin. So, I will take this in further when I'm taking the transfer pricing methods. Next 10 minutes we will spend on transfer pricing methods, and then, 5 minutes, and then we'll come to the live search next 10, in next 10 to 15 minutes. So we know ourselves. We know what kind of company we are. Now we're going to compare with, now there are 6 different methods of comparison, which can be used, and in no particular sequence that one is favored over others. All are methods, but the whole idea is that you do need to reject methods rather than accept them. So basically, you need to see that this method is not applicable on this transaction, and you need to reject them, and other method then you need to accept. So how is the flow? What is a comparable uncontrolled price method? It is as simple as that. When we go to a, when we compare 2 transactions, it is a transaction level, I would say, benchmarking, that an Alfonso is comparable to an Alfonso. And is a mango comparable to apple? No, a mango is not comparable to apple. An Alfonso mango is also not comparable to some other kind of mango, because both are not comparable transaction. So you need to find first comparable transaction which is not controlled, which is basically uncontrolled, and then you need to apply that to find out a similar transaction. In over here, actual transaction of a comparability is important. You need to actually compare. You cannot use quotation. You cannot use, you have to actually compare. 2 kind of cup method are there: internal cup and outside cup, external cup. Internal cup is that your Indian company is purchasing goods from US company, which is a related party, and your company is purchasing goods from independent party also, same goods in a similar time frame. Why I'm telling you similar time frame? Remember the Sunil Gavaskar and Rohit Sharma, they cannot be compared because the timing was different. Can you compare price of mango in May with the price of mango in December? No, it cannot be compared. So in a similar time frame when the transaction is there, you can use this kind of internal cup. External cup is there is your company who is selling to related party or buying from related party, and there is another third party which the transaction, let's say on a stock market, a transaction is going on, and you can just compare with that. So that is an external cup which we use for an external benchmarking. These all topics require very, very detailed sessions, but just wanted to make you aware of because you should ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि we understand transfer pricing study report, but we do not know basics of transfer pricing. So, where do you start? You start pricing of a comparable transaction which is uncontrolled. If there are any differences, let's say you buy one mango versus you buy 10 dozens of mango, price would differ. So you need to plus or minus that adjustment. Another of the adjustment, maybe there could be several. So another adjustment, let's say you buy mangoes at home, or you go to the shop and buy mango. There could be difference, because at home, he's coming to you, he would charge a freight and additional extra. So that also needs to be, that difference also needs to be meted out, and then you can go to comparable pricing. So that is how, your cup could, come into picture. And then in your transfer pricing study report, because the session is about transfer pricing, you could present it in this format, that rate charge at that level was this, and rate charge of unrelated party was this at this, time frame. So ideally, it has to be on the same day. If not at the same day, then you may find out somewhere near, at that period, but similar time frame. It should not be, a difference in time frame. Then the next method is resale price method, which is used when we are doing a transaction and we are, basically a reseller. Our Indian company is reseller, our tested party is reseller. Then we do a resale price method. Inverse of it is cup. I am skipping this slide. You can take this over, while a profit slip method, which I would say is very rarely used, but now henceforth, I think future of transfer pricing, this will be the most used transfer pricing method. It's like partnership. When two guys come together and they discuss and they do a partnership, and they'll decide that how you will take the profit and how I'll take the profit. That is a profit split method. One guy says, I'll do this administration work, I'll do this finance work because I'm a chartered accountant, I will take this percentage of the profit. The other guy says, let's say your friend is an MBA and you two go into partnership. And the other guy says, okay, I'm an MBA, I'll do marketing, I'll do sales and distribution, I will take this percentage. You decide, both of them are doing equal quantity of work, 50-50. But if there is not equal quantity of work, the ratio may differ. So it's basically value addition. What are the value you are bringing to the table? That is, partnership. Then you go into transaction net margin method, which is the most used method. We often call this Tera na Mera method. Kuch nahi milta, we apply this. So this is a transaction net margin method which is being used, which actually you see, and we will understand this in terms of when we are doing the database analysis. You compare your profitability with your transactions profitability with similar companies' profitability. So what is the Indian taxmen are concerned? They are concerned that whether the profit is correct or not. If the profit is correct, you will pay correct tax. Your profit as per P&L. Your not tax profit. Your profit as per profit and loss account is correct or not. Okay. So you find out your company, and then what is your company profitability, and you find out unrelated company profitability. If your company's profitability is higher, you're happy. If your taxman is happy because you're paying additional taxes. If your company's profitability is low, then taxman is not happy, and he would say you do apply arm's length pricing and apply transfer pricing and pay additional tax. That's the whole idea. Okay. So transaction net margin method is being used like this. Any other method, but nothing comes to rescue. Any other method can come. This would be used while domestic transactions in a more manner. So that is any other method. I am skipping this slide, but just just to tell you that you have to have a high comparability. And Alfonso can only be compared with Alfonso, and Alfonso cannot be compared with a Badami Aam, with any other mango. Okay, so cup has to be highest product comparability. RPM and CPM a little high, TNM medium. So a mango trader can be compared with a mango trader on a net profit level, because they would make a net profitability in such a manner, but in a cup, an Alfonso needs to be compared with Alfonso. So this is how basically comparability under most appropriate method is going on. Next 5 minutes on how do you compute that arm's length price, and then we'll go into the I would say databases. So there is a concept of range concept. If your most appropriate method is a profit split method or other method, you can go to arithmetic mean. You don't have a range concept. Otherwise, if your comparable is less than 6, then you have to go to arithmetic mean. You simply take out the arithmetic mean. I will explain you by way of example how do you calculate it. If it is higher than 6, then the range concept is applicable. How a range concept is applicable, I'll explain you. So I'll just skip this slide and take you to examples of arithmetic mean. Remember, when your transaction is profit split method or a cup method, you have to use arithmetic mean if you have more than 2 comparables. Okay, your transaction is at RPM, resale price, CPM, cost plus, and TNM, and the number of companies which you have found out is less than 6. You use arithmetic mean. Okay. Now, what is arithmetic mean? You simply take this up, take the weighted average, let's say last 3 years financials, and divide this, and 6.08 is the comparable company's margin. If your margin is higher, you have a deviation of 1% allowed in wholesale, deviation of 3% allowed in retail. If you fall into this margin, it is fine. If not, then you have to pay additional taxes. It's as simple as that. But arithmetic mean is really not a good comparison. It is a famous saying in statistics that if your one leg in hot water and your another leg in cold water, statistically speaking, on an average, you should be fine. But aisa hota hai kya? So arithmetic mean, we were using arithmetic means in 2013-14, and then the range concept came in, which is a far, far better, I would say, concept. Many companies use 25 percentile to 75. We use 35 percentile to 65. So how it is exactly done? Let's say you have gone more than 6. So you have gone 7 companies. You have put their margin. You have to arrange them in ascending order. Okay. From 0.14 to 579 in an ascending order, you need to put them. Okay. Now your lower percentile is 0.35. Okay. 35 percentile. So total number of comparables are 7. You multiply this by 0.35, you come to 2.5. 2.5 is a decimal number. So whenever a decimal number comes, you take the next number, which is 3. So over here we have marked 3. On the third line, you have the lower threshold as 1.94. Okay. And then you take a higher percentile, 7 multiplied by 0.65. Again, it's a decimal number. You take up the next digit, which is 5. You take up, which is 5, the company E, and you take up this 3.29. So your range is now 1.94 to 3.29. In between this range, if your company's margin are there, this is comparable companies. If your own company's margin are there between this range, it is perfectly fine. You are doing a wonderful activity. Let's say you are a local based Indian company and you are selling. Even if you are higher this range, you are giving more profit to tax people. They will not mind this. But God forbid, you are lower this range. Let's say your margin is only 1% and comparable margin is from 1.94 to 3.24. Then your arm's length price would not be from this lower range. That would be considered from 1.04 to the median. And the median is calculated as 7.7 into 0.50. So 50%, which is 4th figure. So let's say your margin is 1% and the median is 3.22. Then from 3.22 to 1, 2.22 would be added. No deviation of 1%, 3% is allowed. As simple as that. You are once you are outside, let's say you are 1.93 also. You are 1.93 also. So from 3.22 from 1.93, your margin would be added. So this is a very, very important thing. Is this clear? How 3.5 is arrived? Can you please explain? Yes, Chintan. So 3.5 is basically 7 multiplied by 50. 50% is the median. Okay. So 35 to 65 percentile is allowed over here, and a 50 percentile is a median. So when you multiply 7 into 50, you got 3.5. The next decimal, the next whole number is 4. So 4, you got 3.22 is your median. So whenever your multiplication comes to a decimal, you take the next number. 3.22 is the median, and any difference from the median would be added to the margin. Okay. There is one question from Deepika. In case of operating margin, when we take operating revenue, do we include other income also? So it is highly subjective and fact specific. If the other income is of a nature of an other operating revenue, like say MEIS benefits or a duty drawback, you might take it. Okay, but if it of some other nature like a financial income or something, you may not take it. So it is all depending other income versus nature of a revenue or not. So this is the example of range concept. I'll also explain you. And if any case, if something is not clear, you can please ping me on Q&A and chat, and I'll like to take this up. As and when we have a logical break in our presentation, or if I feel that it is important to take it that point of time, I'll take it that point of time. Let's say your multiplication does not yield to a whole number, does not yield to a decimal number, and it yield to a whole number. Then how do you take it? So in this figure, I have 20 comparables, which is normally not available. 20 comparables is a big thing, but let's say you put them again in ascending order. 20 into 3.5, 35 percentile 7. Then you take 7 and 8, and you take margin of both of them and take an average. So 5.79 plus 5.93 divided by 2. Similarly, with 20 to 6.5, 13, 13 and 14 divided by 12. That's the way you will calculate the lower percentile and higher percentile. So that is how you will calculate. Okay, so I will just skip. And towards the end, if you're, towards the end, if you conclude that your transfer pricing and your margin is correct, you make those tables and, you prove in your report that yes, it is arm's length. If it is not at arm's length, then you have to, add, and then you have to make an addition. So of it, and then you have to provide that in 3CEB. We are right now just concerned today, our is concerned is transfer pricing database and transfer pricing study report. So study report, we have, more or less concluded. We start from executive summary, then we go to, basically industrial overview, the do VIFAR analysis, then we come to know who we are, then we do an economic analysis, then we do benchmarking, and then we find similar companies on database, which we are going to learn now for next 45 minutes. And, and then we find out, and then we put it in a table, and then we say, okay, we are at arm's length. If we are not, then we are not at arm's length, and we pay additional, we tell company to pay additional tax, or they may go for whatever other means they have. So 1 hour, we have concluded. I'll give you a minute break, and I'll also have a sip of water. I hope everything is going fine, Vijayji, Nileshji, and nobody is sleeping at least.
Yes, sir.
No, sir, going perfectly right.
Thank you, sir. For participants also, I hope it is going fine. You can put into chat box. You can put your queries into Q&A. If it's going fine, let's be interactive. I will have full more, questions. Thank you, Manish. Thank you, Gopal, for sharing your love. Thank you so much for giving your feedbacks and your comments. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's embrace. So we will understand next 2 segments, or next 3 segments are basically what type of databases are available. How do you do a live search? Where my colleague Harshita will help us, by showing us live search. If the broadband connectivity suits, fine. Otherwise, we have screenshot also. So many people ask me, sir, what type of database we should buy? Most of the people know that we have Probase, we have HTTP, we have Capital Line and all. So what we should buy? What is the best one we should buy? So I asked them another question, which I'm going to ask. Most of you must have subscribed to, let's say, these OTT platforms: Netflix, Disney Hotstar, Prime Video. How do you select your OTT platform? My question. I have taken you to cricket, I have taken you to food. I hope no one is angry, and now I'm taking you to OTT. So how do you select your OTT platforms? How do you select whether you want to buy Netflix, or you want to see Disney Hotstar, or you want to see Prime Video? What are the distinguishing factors you put into place? You can feed in price, maybe, whatever, content, whatever, anything, just feed in, So Gopal says price and content. Yes. What else? More people, more interaction. I'll have more, yes. Okay, great. So we've said, somebody's playing, user friendliness. Okay. Then what? Keep putting it on. So multiple people simultaneous access. So yeah, whether it allows multiple, that's a very, very important thing. Some people say, "Jiska password mere friend ke paas hai, I'll take that one." Some people may say that also. So multiple access allow karta hai ki nahi karta, that is very important. Netflix does not allow maybe that, but Prime Video allows that. So mobile and TV. So where I can, accessibility is an important thing. Okay. Cost is an important thing. User friendliness is an important thing. What more? Thank you, Chintan. What more is an important thing? What is, basically, how do you select your OTT platforms? So yeah, these are the features which people have, answered. Picture quality. How does it come into picture? So this is how we take, and this is how we select our transfer pricing software as well. So pricing could be an issue. More content could be issue. So Shreyas is saying more content which is there. So so this could be an issue. So there are many ways, and whichever suits what. I'll just give you an idea that what are the different software available. So Proves IQ is one of the software which we are going to see. It is developed by Center of Monitoring Indian Economy, okay, which is a very, very respected statistical organization. It has more than 50,000 companies. So you can compare it with, let's say, you want to see which Netflix has more movies, or Amazon has more movies, or Disney Hotstar has more movies. Okay, it has a very, very user-friendly querying. Annual reports can be download. It has a very, very good statistical backing, because Center for Monitoring Indian Economy is one of the best statistical organization in the country. So, just this Proves is not developed specifically for transfer pricing. This is used more by, somebody who is doing a statistical organization, some PhDs and those kind of things. So this is the feature of Proves. Then Capitaline. So Capitaline TP is from the stable of one of the most respected, I would say, magazine, Capital Market, share market. So you would find this affinity towards share market more. So Proves will have more affinity towards statistical database. Capitaline will have more affinity towards the share market thing. So more than 35,000 companies, vast coverage of industry. Very, very, good, I would say, deals with ICI also. So we can take benefit. Available on various platforms, online, offline. So very, very good software, and one of the most, I would say, used one, Capitaline TP. ASTP was specifically designed. It was the newest kid on the block, and it was specifically designed for basically I would say transfer pricing. 38,000 companies, more than 715 fields. So various subscribing options are available. So this is ASTP. So you can figure out yourself what you want to buy whenever you are doing your transfer pricing study reports, and So we will go to the next segment where we'll do a live search on software Proves IQ, and once again I'll take you away from transfer pricing. Okay, I'll take you away from transfer pricing for a while, and we have covered cricket, we have covered food, we have covered OTT, and one more thing which we like, I'm going to cover. So it's shopping time now, okay? And how an effective search is conducted, how do you search for your clothes? Let's say we enter into a multi-brand store, something like a Central, and I would request participation from all of you. We go into Lifestyle Central, and there is big sale going on. Remember those good old days pre-COVID when there used to have big sales, and you need to buy something and you need to go over there and you need to basically do a lot of, you wanted to buy 10 t-shirts for yourself. And so how do you basically, shop? How do you basically buy t-shirt for yourself? Can you write in chat box, or maybe if some participant can be unmuted and they can give their comments. So brand and a price, yes, Gopal. So brand and a price is very important. But I'm just talking about on the perspective of the whole, I would say, the whole process. Okay, you enter into the shop, and do you just go to the brand which you like and pick and just see the price and come out and buy? Do you do that only, Gopal, or for other people also, or something else is also done? What's the typical step? You know, I want more interaction on this thing because this is a very, very important thing to understand, you know, I would say effective searching. Okay. So more appealing counter you will do some research on online on quality, price and competitive product. Yes. So you do a research on online. So display. So Shivananda says you go to display. You should start with various display. Okay. Very nice. Okay. Yes. That's a normal thing. You know, what do you do? So someone else, you know, many people are being, you know, interactive comparison with other brand. Yeah, so you will take up from a various display and then you will compare with brand. Okay, better discount, Chintan. Yes. So but you do not do like this. Okay, this is 80% discount, I will take it whether fit or not. Okay, friendly salesman is very important. Yes, Shivananda. So we don't go like, okay, 80% discount, let's take this up. You know, we don't do this. We do a series of steps. And I'll relate my experience, and I think most of us do like this manner. So what we generally do while go for shopping, we enter into this multi-brand store, let's say lifestyle, and we enter into lifestyle, and there is huge rush because of the sales. And you don't want to miss out on any of the t-shirts which you want to buy. And you have decided you want to have a t-shirt. Okay. You go to, let's say, there are many display center, as Shivananda says. So you browse through all. Okay, and you basically go through one stall and you take 5 t-shirts from there. You go to another stall, you take 10 t-shirts from there. You do not, you know, you take 5 t-shirts from some other stall. You go to various stall. First of all, you combine. Let's say you have a set of 20 t-shirts with you. Okay, and then you're satisfied. Okay, I have 20 t-shirts. Then you go to one area in the mall, and then you see, okay, this. Oh, I you know, by mistake put up, by mistake took L. मेरे को तो XL आता है. I don't want this. Then you say, oh, I by mistake put up this brand. I don't like this brand. Then you reduce. So first you collate, and then you start reduction. Okay, you have some general criteria. I don't want L and medium. I want XL only. So these are general criteria. Then you may have a general criteria of, let's say, I don't want this brand. You reduce that thing. You may have a general criteria of, I don't like this color. My mom picked it up for me, but I don't like this color. So you remove that. Then you move to little bit specific criteria. Then you say, okay, why do I want this t-shirt? I want for a party. I don't want from work from home. I don't want from just casual evening walk. I want for a party. Then you say, okay, I just mistakenly put this up. And then you actually, take that t-shirt. And at this point of time, do you just buy or you go to a trial room? My question is, do you just buy or you go to a trial room and try and everything? Yeah, aapne dekh liya and then you just take home. What do you exactly do? Can people answer? Or do you go to trial room also? You always go to trial room because sometimes, trial room, you may not like it, yes, no trial in COVID, but we're talking about prior period, prior pre-COVID, because all in COVID, we are doing just, online. Okay. So you do go to a trial room and then, you may find, acha, ye to acha lag raha tha, but now when I'm going into a trial room, I do not like it. And do you more or less agree now that is the way we do shopping? Most of the time we collate, then we reject, we do a trial. Rejection is sometime on a general and a specific filter, and then we buy. Do you now, do you feel that this is the general way we buy? Be it offline, online with trial nahi hota, but most of us do we buy in such manner? We collate, we reject, we try, and then we buy. Is this the sequencing correct? Can I get some answers? Yes, Jabir, thank you. So yes, Chintan, Gopal, thank you. You guys are great. You guys are great contributor. Thank you so much. So this is the way we do our, thank you, Deepika. So this is the way we do our search, and this is the way we do our, I would say, analysis, fire analysis. We also know that what kind of fabric we want to go, what the range we go, everything. And this is the way we, search for database also. And I will show you when we are doing this, database in next 1 minute. So what will happen? First you collate, then you apply some of the quantitative filters. Like you don't want similar brand. So you don't want government ownership, because government ownership will not give you an arm's length price. Government has different agendas. Okay, so you reduce. You don't want a related party transaction, which the company which has a high related party transaction, you don't want into your set. Similar to, let's say you saw a t-shirt which was very nice, but you remember your relative actually was wearing the t-shirt, so you will reject this. Okay, you don't want a chronically loss-making company. So let's say you had purchased some t-shirt from a brand and now it was bad, and now you believe it's bad, you will not buy that. So these kind of filters, quantitative general filter you will apply. Then you will apply specific filter, that a turnover. Let's say I want from your range for this range, I want for a party, and I want from this range to that range, and that you apply similarly for a turnover. Let's say you are a 10 crore company and you don't want to, you don't want to basically take a less than 1 crore company, and therefore you don't want to take them, so you will reject them. So those kind of specific filters are applied, and then you go to a qualitative analysis, which is our trial room. You actually go to each and every company's website and you basically try them. You basically see whether ये सब अच्छा तो लग रहा था when I purchased, when I actually took them, not purchased, when I took them on a corner, but now it is not fitting on me. And that is how exactly we do a transfer pricing based study also. We are now going to do this on a ProVase. And I will stop sharing now, and I will request Harshita to show ProVase screen. I'll just stop the share, and we will do a live analysis. Live, how do we basically do a transfer pricing? So can you guys see the screen ProVase? Can you guys see that? Yeah, thank you, Vikas. Okay. Great. Thank you, Shreyas. Thank you, Gopal. Thank you, everyone. So this is the screen which looks like, this is the screen, where you have, Harshita, can you show the pointers? Pointer, yeah. So over here we have a query builder. Query builder is basically where you build your queries, where you actually define your filters. Okay. Then there is an output view where basically the output will come. Okay. Then you have a reporting view, where basically, you can see your reports, you can get profit and loss account and everything. Then you have a worksheet where it's like an Excel sheet where the data can come and you can do a plus minus. And then you have another tab of command history and planner, where you can see that all sort of commands which were executed earlier in the day can be taken, and all sort of command can be taken. Now we are using ProVase, but more or less all the other software are on a similar thing. So query builder, before starting the query, I am telling you which kind of companies we are selecting. So our company is a software company. Our company has a turnover of 10 crore, and what we only give services. You can note our company, you can just remember that our company is a software service provider. Service provider, not a manufacturer, not a off-the-shelf software, not a software product. Software service provider, and we have, let's say, 10 crore turnover. We only give services to AE, so we do not have a comparable uncontrolled pricing. So we cannot have another pricing, so we reject that method. We are not doing a resale, so we reject that method also. We are not doing, so we come to the conclusion that TNMM, transaction net margin method, would be important for me, and I will now start the search. So first of all, you go to in ProVase, there is a select company in predefined set, and then you go and type in over software over here. Hopefully the broadband and internet connectivity, you put it search, then you will find. So you say computer software index. This is not, we are not into index or anything. We are into players, we are into computer software. So we click over there. We are not ITES or something. We do a computer software. Over here, you can see computer software is come, and now you will, put a search. You will find more. You will see more. Now stop here a minute, Ashita. You will see there is all companies. Okay. What are all companies? All companies is like all t-shirts, all display in the mall, and one of the counter, let's say Alan Solly, is the first thing is predefined set. So you are putting into computer software and you're putting into all companies. And now what you will do is basically send to new output sheet. So you will put that, send to new output sheet. This query has been triggered. And on the right side, on the upper hand, you will see new output over here. When it starts blinking, the new output comes. It will take, let's say, 10-15 seconds to come. New output will come. We will just wait. So this is our first stop. We enter into mall, we enter into lifestyle, and we are collating first pack of t-shirts. Okay, from one. I think some issue with the. We'll just see whether. You can click on new output and maybe it will blink a little later. Yeah, this is coming. 629. So you can see over here, this new companies at 621, we have, 1821, we have done this transaction. Now Harshita is adding this up. So we have 1289 t-shirts with us. We have 1289 companies with us when we do a software search. Okay, so by a simple query builder. Okay, now Harshita, you can go back again and let's say we go to next stop, Louis Philippe. This is the next stop, business segment. So you go to main product search service, okay? And this is the next stop. Now we'll add a few more companies. So over here, you can see your CMI code and you can see NIC code, okay? Now, when Harshita press search, it came Software Technology Park and Processing Zone. Our company is not, our FAR is clear. We are not Software Technology Park. We are not R&D Center for Computer Software, okay? We are not wholesale trade and ready-made software. So we don't take this up. We are not retail trade and ready-made software. We are software services. So we click this up. And again, we can do, by NIC code also. So when we file ROC return, we specify, NIC code and wholesaler software, retail software. This is the importance of NIC code where we are feeding. Okay, software publishing, software operating system, many other things, providing software services, software installation. We are not doing any of them. Okay, so we are happy with software services, which is there. You apply a query on latest data. L signifies latest. Okay, you add and your interval is annual. Now again, this is all company data. You are free from data, using data from complete ProBase, and you are adding a data to current output sheet. So whatever current output sheet where we have 1289 companies, we are adding data over there. So add to current OSC. Now again, this will strike, and we'll see whether from this Louis Philippe store, are we taking another few t-shirts or not. So again, this will come and they have to press continue. So from this, the number only remained 1289. So we don't like this, there was no addition because of all the companies were already selected in a purely, over here. So we don't like this. We know, let's say 1289 companies is only there. Fine. Harshita, now you can go to, let's say, those kind of search where you write software and, structured search. We'll show one more addition. There are 5-7 different various type of ways to add, but because of the time limitation, I'm just, showing the last one maybe to you, which is little broad base. Okay, now, yeah, you can go over software and you write the bigger one, software service, so we have little less number. So we write software services and we do an auto search. We press enter. Now 6 products have come where software services are there. Okay. Now from where it picks this up? It picks up in all our financials or let's say board report. We write that our company is doing software services and all. ProBase or any other software for that matter picks it from there and do a search that wherever if you're writing a software service and product software service. Harshita, can you drill down a little bit of product name? Yeah, you can come. Done. So software service collection, software service export, these are 6 we believe, okay, we can take. We want to broad base, we want to collect more and more data. So we are, taking this, 6, all the companies down. We want to, let's say, take one up. Harshita, you can take, let's say, one up, let's say anything, go a little down on product name over here only. And you don't want to take software service collection. I don't want to take software service collection. So from down, it will come up from down. Yeah. So I don't want to take, I've taken all, I don't want to take software selection cup. So you missed it out. Only 5 has been taken now. And you then add to current output sheet now. So you now let's see whether we are taking new t-shirts from this stall or not. Now we are into, let's say, into Color Plus. So whether we are taking for t-shirts from Color Plus or not, we'll come to know in a while. The software runs a little slow because it collates data from 50,000 companies. So we have to be a little patient. What we wanted to show you on actual how it is done. Yeah. It's the new one. Yeah. Let's just see. So 1290. So one company got added. 1290 companies. So only one company we took up t-shirt, only one t-shirt from over here, and one company got added. So there are various other ways of adding, but we are not going to discuss that. You can various other ways of structured queries and many other ways. Right now we are not going to there. So now we have collected our t-shirts, and now we are going into one area of the mall, and we are sitting, and now we are reducing them. So let's say we don't want government companies. So what Harshita will do, we'll go into let's say into government companies and do ownership structure and only take private companies into that. So you go into ownership classification and you select, these are the private sector companies which I want to take. And now you will change from all companies to companies in current OSC. When you have taken all the t-shirts, now you will not go again in the mall to see more t-shirts. Now you will only, apply all the filters to the current batch of t-shirts you have. So 1290, you just want private companies. You said send to new OSC. You want just private companies in the new OSC. So you do send to new OSC over there, and let's see how many government companies are removed. Let's see. And this is a general filter. I don't like certain brand. I don't want to carry this over. So new product is blinking now, and now Harshita can put it up. Yeah. And you press a continue. So 1286. So we had 1290. Out of this, 4 were government companies. So the previous set is 21531. We had 1290 companies. Now we have 2154 set, which is 1286 companies. So we have reduced 4 companies out of there. So let's say take another general filter. Harshita, you could take another any other general filter. You can take, let's say, year. Now we are doing study for 2020. So I will, our Income Tax Act allowed multiple year. So what I'll write a formula. Actually, you can put that on question mark and show what kind of formulas are available. So various formulas are available, and this is like when you are writing a code. So which formula we are selecting, you can highlight. We want at least this figure. We are at least out of the last 3 years, data for 2 years should be available. So 2012, we will put 17 over here, 2017 March, 2018 March, 18 March, 19 March, 20 March, greater than equal to 2. So at least 2 years data should be there. So Harshita is writing over here, that's 2018 March, 19 March, 2020 March, greater than equal to 2. I should have the data. So this is very, very important to frame your, queries in such a manner. There could be various permutation combination, and then companies in the current OSC. So again, don't forget that you will not go to the mall where you will apply you will not go buy a new t-shirt. So only in companies current OSC you will put it, and then you will send to new OSC. Now more rejection. So there was some fashion trend. I don't want older fashion trends. So I reduced, those companies. A new output will come. Oh, no new output. There is some issue in maybe. We just check what happened. Or acha, now it is blinked. Perfect. Now it is blinked. So now out of 1286 companies, only 592. All other t-shirts were old. Sale का ज़माना है. Old t-shirt हो सकती है. Just a second. So only now 592 companies remain. Okay, I have rejected the older one because, and I have got the data also that for which 20 data is available, for which, and this year it will be big challenge to have March 20 data. But that's the way we have to live with that. Harshita, let's apply, let's say related party also, let's show them related party. One more filter which is related party, and then we'll go to specific filter. So I don't want other companies which have high related party transaction, because I basically, because those margins may also be tainted. So generally a 25% related party transaction, over that, if you have more than 25% related party transaction, the other party, we would reduce that. So you put all party types, whatever the parties be, KMP and everything. And we have already defined some expression because we use it. So we have taken as a anything, RPT upon income and RPT upon expenditure should range from 0 to 25%. If you have anything more than 25% RPT, I do not want you in my data set. Then again, companies in current OSC and send to new OSC. So you only want output for 1819 to 2003. That's fine. The query is applicable on latest. So when you put query on L, then the query is applicable on the latest financial available with the Provis database. Latest financial can be 10 years back, 2 years back, 3 years back, whatever be it. So now again, now this set has been, and we will see, and major of the companies get rejected in this. So I am seeing that some other, my relative has wore that t-shirt. I will never buy that t-shirt. Okay. I would want to have new t-shirts only. So that's a related party indicator. So only 212 companies now remain. Okay. So out of the 250, Harshita, can you go back? What was the previous number? Out of the 592 companies, only 212 companies have, which does not have significant related party transaction. And that is how, we have come to, now we have removed the general filter. Now, if you remember, we did R analysis and R as a software company. R software company will, what will be the, I would say, peculiar feature of a software company? Can you write into chat box, what would be a peculiar feature of a service company? What will be the peculiar feature of any of the service company or a software company? Anybody can write in the chat box. What will be the peculiar feature of a service company? अगर आपने FAR analysis ढंग से किया हो, so what is the peculiar feature of a service company? High employee cost. Thank you, Deepika. Low investment also, that could also be one. So high employee cost would be very, very relative, feature. So what we will do, we will use a feature of an employee cost. Harshita, can you use that feature? Yeah. So user employee cost, we want at least 60, 78%, whatever be it. Our company has a 60% employee cost over total cost. So let's say we put 60% and you range from 0 to 60%. You again do query, your company is in current OSC only, and do a send to new OSC. Thank God the broadband is working fine today. So let's see how many companies remain. So only out of 212, 135 companies have a service, I would say, employee cost higher than 25%. So we can have many features, like, like somebody said, low investment. You can have low investment also, like Dharmesh said. Okay, these kind of many features could be used. Okay, now what happened next? Okay. What happened next is basically, this is the final list, but we have to do a trial room also. Now I will explain the trial room when I will, when I will be back in a output, when I will be, I would say, or let's do this one thing. I'll share screen once again, and Harshita, then we can be back once, and take it forward then. Okay. So I'll just share the screen. Okay. So we understood about many things. There's a various panel. There is, various application of years, current OSC and all. So background of the case, which I had to show. But so now various different, I would say various different. We have already explained you by using various, so 995 companies. This is a separate search altogether. So let's say we did all this search, and towards the end, we did a related party also, and we did a 60% employee cost. And number of the companies retained is 36. Now, would you take margin of these 36 companies all, or is there some step pending still? The trial room step is pending. You cannot take, all these 36 companies because you have not trial, you have not wore it. पहनने के बाद उससे कोई चीज पसंद नहीं आए, किसी का fit, किसी का कपड़ा, there could be different things. Okay, so what we'll do, you will save data, and now this is the trial room, and this is the most tiresome exercise. Except reject matrix. You go to each and every company's website. You go to each and every company website and find out what are they doing. So you liked some clothes, you took to trial room, but when you go to their website, you read companies engaged in providing consulting and product development services in the area of engineering and R&D and all those services. You realize, oh, this is not fit for me. This is not at all fit for me. And therefore, then you realize that, you can reject this. So you will keep this out of trial room. But when you go to Agile Limited, you see it's a software company, it's system development, software consulting, it's fine. This is you accept it. So for each and every 36 company, you do this analysis, keep this. This is a very, very important analysis. And, this looks easy right now, but this is the most difficult, I would say. And people run away when I give them this work. And, sometimes you have to do 500 companies analysis, sometimes you have to do 200 company analysis, because there is absolutely no further filter which you can apply. But you have to do is, I have myself done sometimes 1300 companies analysis, just going by online and on checking their website. Okay. And then you give various reasons. Functionality, it is not fitting. It is torn, comparability not found, data not found, various other things. And then you make a summary of it. So again, to reiterate your shopping experience, you keep on collating the data, 985, 1400, everything, you did it. Then you keep on rejecting, applying some general filters, which are generally being applied. And then you applied your specific filter and you go to trial room. And then the last 8 companies are there, which is selected, and you will take margin out of this. So if you think that this shopping example has made your TP search easy, then you can please, show, just share on comments and everything. And this is the way typically you do shopping, and typically you do TP study search. You can show on your comments, and you can put it on chat box. Meanwhile, Harshita, let's go back to the Probase. I'll just stop sharing, and we'll tell you how margin is calculated from Probase. Okay, but thank you for sharing your love, Gopal. Thank you sharing. So once I would say, once we are, let's say, I'm not taking this further because this will take more time. Once the companies, let's say those 7-8 companies are available, and let's say this 3D Rock multiple media and all, you can take 4 or 5 or whatever, 1 or whatever, 2, 3 companies. That's it. Thank you everyone for giving your comments. Highly appreciate that. And then you go to report viewer. The companies which you had selected have come over here. Let's say 3D Rock Multimedia is your comparable company. You go to 3D Rock Multimedia Limited, okay, and you have to go to financial statements over there. You click it, and you do financial statements. You do profitability. You go to income expenditure summary. And once you click it over there, you can see that from March 2013, 14, there are 2, and 18 and 19 figures are available. So you just do a copy paste of this figure to an Excel sheet. You can export this up. And once you do a copy paste, then you can, take out their profitability. Do take out balance sheets from MCA and then exactly check your, profitability. Don't just relax. These figures are more or less completely, I have not seen much of a difference, but they do their own comparability analysis. They do not just they normalize the data. So Provase normalize the data, other software normalize the data. If the company has shown this wrong, they normalize it. But better take MCA database and just try to check it whether there is significant difference or not, because TPO may or may not, agree with this data, and then it could cause a little bit of problem. So that is how you take it. Couple of things which we can, show. Harshita, go to output view, and we can just show, how the sheet. Sometimes if something goes wrong, how to sheet, how to, set current sheet. So let's say you are at this 2156. 2156. You can come to 2156. You did this analysis and you find, oh, I did, at till 2155, I was right, but I pressed some wrong button and my formula was wrong. And you don't have to start from again scratch. So you can go to 2155 and you can set it as a current sheet, and this will be your current sheet, and you can start working on it. So that is, that is something which can be done. Harshita, if I missed out something, some important aspect, then you can also tell if I missed out.
Almost all the basics they have covered, sir.
Okay, thank you, Harshita. So this is the way, this is normally been done. And now I'll again share screen. Harshita, you can, quit it and. Wait. So this is the way you've come out with a summary, and then a margin of comparable companies is made. So again, you put it on an ascending order. You find 3 years margin, whatever be it, lower percentile, higher percentile. If your comparable company, if your tested party, if your associate is within this range, more than enough, fine. If your tested party is not in this range, then it could create some issues. So that is how, this margin which we understood on a TP database, that comes into picture. Now many people ask question, are there other relevant database? So I explain them in the same term. When you don't have Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Hotstar, what do? You can go in YouTube. You can go on something which is free. So there are various other databases. These three are the recognized one for transfer pricing. But if you go to, let's say, MCA21 and want to download, it is sometimes very, very difficult to prove to assessing officer that I have done this in right manner. This is like, sometimes it can be called as a cherry picking, that you knew that, these companies would be, such kind of companies with lower profitability, and you took. For royalty transaction, there is a royalty stat which is used. For valuation, sometimes Crunchbase and VCC Edge is used. Duns and Bradstreet also acquired a foreign database which is used. So these can also be used. Okay, we move to the last segment. Other uses of transfer pricing database is not just used for transfer pricing. I would say in our firm we use it for various other ways. A lot of other things could be used in a transfer pricing database. We can do a due diligence. So while doing a due diligence, okay, you can find out. Let's say you are doing some companies, and you want to find out that your similar companies, what you're doing a due diligence, and for that company, the data is available on Provase, okay, because it may be one of those 50,000 companies. Then you can do on one click such a wonderful analysis of that company about capacity or quarterly turnover, annual turnover, many things. So you see over there, business segment, capex report, index report, various reports are there where you can do while using due diligence also. Then this is one feature where you can do, and you can help your client also. Sometimes some clients want that, give us a company versus industry benchmark. So this is my company, Tata Automated Material. They want that Tata Automated is a communication equipment. What is my company doing versus other communication equipment also. So that is, you know, you can exactly corroborate information from over here and you can take it out. You know, peer comparison, you can offer this service to your client that we will find out your peers, your similar, and you know whether your working capital is fine, whether you're, you know, whether you're having extensive loan, how do you rank yourself in you know, in various other markets, in competitors, you're bigger and small. These all kind of wonderful analysis can be done. To use only in transfer pricing would be an under usage of these kind of software. Even stock price, and this is more prevalent in, I would say, Capital Line. You know, what kind of stock you do all the analysis. Let's say some of you must be investing. You can do a lot of stock price analysis, you know, based on this software, and you know, do a lot of things. So these are the other, you know, usage of transfer pricing database. Last two slides which we move in, you know, some of the common questions which are being asked to me. So I have tabulated that, and we can have other questions on while on a Q&A session. You know, so use of one database is sufficient or more database is required. Generally, one database is more than sufficient, but sometimes clients has request, or maybe sometimes, you know, you do not get sufficient data from one database. Then it is ideal to use another database also, and you know, better comparable can be found. Okay. So tax official can use power under 136.6, you know, whether taxpayer can also do secret search. Unfortunately, that power is not available to you. But yes, you can use additive approach, and maybe, you know, you can go to MCA apart from the search and, you know, take out financials from them. But you have to do the same stringent qualitative and quantitative analysis where what you have done to those companies in Probase. You can add that up. That's not a number. Secret comparable, no. Companies take it in a previous year, succeeding year should be taken in database or no. You know, so many people ask, sir, why to do this database search every year? You know, many clients are saying, why to do this database search every year? Do it one time only, na? Don't do it many every year. So I ask them again the same question. When you go to the mall next time, do you take the same T-shirt? Do you take the same brand? Do you take the same size? Or do you repeat the process all over again? And what is invariably the answer? What will be your answer? Do you do the process time over again? Or when you next time buy, you know, can you answer that? Or do you just take, last time this T-shirt was good, I will buy the same T-shirt. You know, what do we do? You know, we do the process again. So Gopal is saying yes. And everybody do this process again, time and again. We again collate, we again reject, we again try, and again do. So do this analysis every year. Companies taken the previous year. Last time the brand was good. This time is not good. You may not take this, but you have to document that with reasons. Okay. Whether single comparable be used, if the single comparable is only available, then use it. Just for the sake of high comparability, don't take imperfect comparable. Take only comparable which are, you know, which are highly comparable, or at least the adjustment can be made for that comparable. Foreign country comparable under similar circumstances. If your tested party is foreign party, then you can take foreign country comparable. Otherwise, it's very difficult to take foreign country comparable, even if the same economic environment they are into. When segment result can be used, see, if your company is doing something, the other company which you're taking is having 3-4 other segments, okay, then you have to better take those segments, you know, which is basically correlated with your company. Don't take the company as a whole of a comparable. So it is transaction benchmarking, okay, it is not a company benchmarking. Whether imperfect comparable can be taken, imperfect comparable can only be taken if you can make an adjustment. Otherwise, do not take an imperfect comparable, only take a perfect comparable. Last slide. Transfer pricing for TP. This is my general experience of last 10 years into TP. You know, be creative. Don't copy paste. Many people ask after the session, ask me, sir, can you give me format of TP? I said no. You know, don't ask for TP format because I have given you a sample format. Be creative. Don't just copy paste because the most important thing is FAR. People copy paste the FAR. Okay, अरे ये सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी में भी यही फार होगा, उस सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी में भी यही फार है. No, as I told you, you know, Dhoni and Rohit Sharma cannot be compared. Dhoni and Gavaskar cannot be compared. I can give you a TP report for Gavaskar, but you have to, you know, do for Rohit Sharma. Both cannot be compared. Be creative. Do not. It's a very, very creative writing. When you do a lot of transfer pricing, you will come to know it's more about creative writing. How to present enough facts in a certain manner. Understanding the working of database, very important. Formula कैसे feed होना चाहिए, greater than equal to 2, whatever. Use multiple sources. Okay. Do a lot of trial and error. This software search you were seeing, it seems so simple, but when we do practical, I tell my team, and Harshita can vouch for that. I tell them, नहीं, इसको ऐसा नहीं, वापस दूसरी साइड से करो. इसको ऐसा नहीं, इसको, you have to start this. अगर this far is this fact is wrong, we can't do this analysis. Stringent qualitative analysis, stringent trial room. Okay, qualitative analysis is very very important. ऐसा नहीं किसी की वेबसाइट पे गया, उसका information नहीं मिला, you skip that. Find out, put the website name where you have taken, and very very important. Most important point, discussion with only client's accountant will not help. Understand the business. It's very, very important to understand the business. You have to step out of the cabin of the client's accountant, or even have a Zoom call with the business person. Why are you charging this much? वो बताएगा आपको, accountant को कई बार पता ही नहीं होता. What is your capacity? Accountant को कई बार नहीं पता होता है. Okay. Identify alternative source of information, public domain. Make suitable adjustment, but with supported basis. Analyze implication of market condition, and very important in COVID cases, market condition देखिए और on the business of SSC. Avoid cherry picking. Don't just choose, अरे यार ये 5 company low है, I'll take this company. Okay, no. Okay, avoid cherry picking, because when you do cherry picking, the assessing officer, the transfer pricing officer will also do cherry picking. So avoid cherry picking of the comparables. Document the whole process with reasons. Document it. These screenshots are not taken for, for this PPT. For every search we do in our office, all screenshots are taken, and the date over there is very important. So when you are filing 3CB on 31st October, all the screenshots should be before 31st October. That is very, very important. So ये documentation process, saving the file in a certain manner, you have to document each and every stop. ऐसा नहीं है कि you find some higher company and you took it out. You find a company with a higher margin and you just took it out. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. And obviously enjoy it. You can make it fun, you can make it creative. If you will not enjoy it, you will not like it. Correlate with example, practical. We understood from a brother and a sister. We understood from cricketers. We understood from a shopping experience. Make it fun. Enjoy it, guys. This transfer pricing is, I find this really, really interesting. Every time new facts come in, every time, and I like, discussing with my team, the discussion go on for length. What is this for? What is that for? What is the business scenario? And it is very, very important to understand this thing. So, thank you so much. Borivali CPG Study Circle, we are on the dot, on the time. Any thoughts, question, comments, we can take this up now. Please do, and my sincere thanks to Harshita. Do convey your thoughts to Harshita also. If you like this presentation, if you like the examples which we use, it's all my team effort, which they have got this super examples, and with it, and your comments would really help us to make more such collaborative and more such interesting presentations. Thank you so much for your comments, and we can have questions if there are any now. I can see on Q&A tab.
Yeah, we have 4 questions.
Yeah, I'll take this up. The question from Deepika: in case of operating money, this I've already taken, so this has been done. What about return on exchange fluctuation? So there are both sides of cases, Jabir. Treatment of exchange fluctuation should be an operating margin or not, because it does not determine your operating price. You have to see whether this exchange fluctuation is an intrinsic part of your business or not. If it is, take it as an operating margin. If it is, do not. There are decisions on both the sides. Chintan, I only limited TPS, don't want to spend so much on database. There are quite any database per use basis or some rental basis. So in earlier days, I think Bombay Chartered Accountant Society used to provide that you can go over in their premises and, on hourly basis, you can subscribe this. I'm not sure whether in their library the facility is still available or not, or you can collaborate with people and, maybe, discuss with them and, get it done. So, and there are some very good offers, I think, for a couple of databases with ICI. So you can go with that. That is something, which can take off. what is the due date of SEZ, ATB transfer pricing? 30th? No. All the transfer pricing date, unfortunately, right now is 31st October. You need to, basically do. It was used to be 30th November. Now it is shifted to 31st October. Hopefully that should get extended. Otherwise, I don't know. At least I'll not be able to do my work, both tax audit, transfer pricing audit, and everything. So, any other question, comments, anything from your side? Thank you, Gopal. Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you, Prashant. Thank you, everyone for giving your comments. More questions, I am open to answer them. If it's there, anybody can raise hand also, and maybe anything.
Okay. Thank you, Naman Bhai, for sharing your views on the transfer pricing report. Since there are no questions and answers, I straightaway request Nilesh Vasa, our former deputy convener of our study circle, to propose a well-deserved vote of thanks.
Thank you, Vijay sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Today on our topic regarding preparing for a transfer pricing study report using TP software. I think before I give vote of thanks, Naman sir, I will agree that our participants have already given you the verdict that it was an excellent and awesome session. I think you have read the comments.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir, for Naman sir, Harshita Dhariwal ma'am, Chinmay, Pratima, Jyoti, for your nice presentation and elaborate presentation for our participants. Sir, you have explained very much regarding functions, assets, risk analysis, comparability adjustments, characterization, economic analysis, and in a much elaborate way on this topic, because being a TP topic, normally it's for corporate peoples, this thing. And your practical approach for selecting a software, whether it is Capitaline TP or PowerS IQ. It was really awesome seminar, sir. Thank you very much. On behalf of Borivali Central CP Study Circle, I propose a very well-deserved vote of thanks with a loud round of applause.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Our next seminar is on 21st of October on the topic of forensic audit. It's on Wednesday, 5 to 7 p.m. Thank you.
All the members stay safe, stay fit and fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.